Ladies and gentlemen, there are many calls in the country during the protests for police reform. People want major changes in the way policing is done in this country. And Trump so far is ignoring the whole thing. He wants to reopen the country and try to get everything back up and running, but he seems to be very uninterested in the way police do things and changing it. There's a lot of Trumps in this country like that. There's a lot. They are satisfied with the unequal treatment that's going on and people getting killed and roughed up while others are not. They're satisfied with that. They don't want it to change. And the bottom line is, Trump wants the best of both worlds. He wants everybody to go somewhere and shut up. And let me just put this out there too. Those of you that are opposed to the protest, please stop talking about silent protest. Nobody's going to listen to you with that. Okay, if that's the case, the next time you want something, you do it silently. I promise you, you won't do it. And you know it. Silent protest is just another way of saying shut up. Shut up and just go along with the system. That's all it is. You're not fooling no damn body. All of you that are saying that, you're wasting your time. Nobody is going to go silently protest. You can kiss my silent ass. Let's get on with it. When George Floyd died last week, after a Minneapolis police officer pinned him down with a knee on his neck, Trump reacted as he has in the past when a Black person's fatal encounter with law enforcement is caught on video. He declared himself disturbed by the terrible thing he saw, then offered nothing in terms of policy to address enduring concerns about policing and racism. Right now, I think the nation needs law and order, Trump told the conservative media outlet. And there go your problem right there. As a president, when you see your country falling apart, you should be addressing everybody, not conservative media. There go your problem right there. Okay. So you have a bad group of people out there. Wrong. You have a bad police culture out there. Y'all not going to get away with this. Oh, it's just a group of bad people. Oh, it's just a few people, just a few people. You're not getting away with that anymore. It's a whole police culture in this country that is a problem. And you're not going to skirt away with them little trying to minimize everything with those words. You're not going to get away with that anymore. It's an entire police culture. Trump's first instinct is always to look tough rather than make concessions, even when there's a growing recognition across racial lines that Black people suffer from racist policing. Apart from supporting a federal civil rights investigation into Floyd's death, the president has offered no proposals for changing how police use force, train new officers, or interact with their communities. There's been no signal from Trump and his administration that they are interested in doing anything other than photo op style events. Maybe a listening session or something, said Scott Roberts, a senior criminal justice campaign director for Color of Change, a racial justice nonprofit. We don't need photo ops. We need solutions. You can save the photo ops. Trump has pledged to crack down on the looting and rioting. Again, I don't care about looting, okay? If those stores got insurance, they'll be compensated for it. I don't care nothing about that. Property and possessions can be replaced, People cannot. So when you keep raising that looting thing, everything looted from those stores can be replaced. Everything. You can keep putting emphasis on property. I don't. I put emphasis on life. Okay. His approach has transformed parts of the nation's capital into a garrison with an ever expanding security perimeter around the White House and armed troops at many intersections and national landmarks. Trump faces increasing pressure to act as lawmakers on both sides begin drafting legislation on Capitol Hill, and Floyd's family announced that they're working with civil rights activist Reverend Al Sharpton to plan a march on Washington in August. Recent polls indicate more white people recognize that Black people are more likely to be treated unfairly by police. It seems we have reached a turning point in public opinion where white Americans are realizing that Black Americans face risk when dealing with the police that they do not, said Patrick Murphy, director of the Monmouth University Polling Institute. They may not agree with the violence of recent protests, but many whites say they understand where the anger is coming from. The White House appears to recognize that Trump needs to offer some kind of proposal. The president believes that most police officers in the country are good. Well, that's his opinion. Okay, that doesn't mean everybody shares your opinion. Opinions, what did they say, are like buttholes. Everybody has one. Working people, and he notes that the White House press secretary, but he also notes some of the injustices we've seen and the need to make sure that the appropriate use of force is used and that our officers are trained in that capacity. Well, Trump, what you are offering and what you are saying is not good enough. Not good enough when we have seen countless people unarmed in this country die, and they really shouldn't have been no more than arrested. You can't be a cop and decide who gets executed out on the street. It doesn't work. So what you're saying, not good enough. Attorney General William Barr acknowledged that racism remains a problem in many police departments. It is undeniable that many African Americans lack confidence in our criminal justice system. Gee, I wonder why. You stack the whole damn system against us. This must change, he said at a news conference Thursday. Trump, with his record of racist comments and tweets, urged police to crack down on protesters he calls thugs, is unlikely to take action that would satisfy activist groups. As much as he wants the protests to end, he constantly wary of upsetting his base of overwhelmingly white supporters. Well, if that group is smaller than the people that are complaining, you might have a problem, which I'm sure that's the case. Trump has been in bed with the police union since his campaign, Roberts said. I think he shares their values, frankly, and they share his. Trump's approach to Floyd's death echoes his comments on Sandra Bland. Soon after he announced his candidacy in 2015, a Black woman, Bland, died in a Texas jail cell after she was arrested during a routine motor vehicle stop that was caught on video. Officials said she hung herself, which is a damn lie. She was murdered. I thought it was terrible, to be honest with you, he told CNN at the time, but Trump hedged when asked whether a person's race make a difference in how he or she is treated by law enforcement. I hope it doesn't, but it might, he said. Well, then that tells me you're aware of it. You can only give that kind of answer if you are aware of it. And I know he is. You can't be that dumb. You're in your 70s. Come on now. Trump pushed a tough on crime message on the campaign trail, tweeting about attacks on police officers and declaring that we must restore law and order, protect our great law enforcement. That's a damn lie. Cops are not being attacked at the levels that y'all trying to perpetrate. Cops are a lot safer in this job, in their job, than a damn trash collector. A trash collector is more at risk than a cop. In fact, being a police officer is not even among the top 10 most dangerous jobs in the country. So y'all are just over exaggerating and dramatizing the whole thing about how dangerous it is for them. Get out of here with that crap. After he was elected, Trump Justice Department scaled back patterns and practice investigations that are intended to improve policies at local police departments. More than 24 had been launched by the Obama administration. The priorities have shifted, said Lori Robinson, a professor at George Mason University who co-chaired President Obama's Commission on Policing. It sends a signal to local departments that this is not a priority in Washington. Trump's rhetoric sometimes indicates that abusive police don't need to worry about accountability, and that's the problem. That's the problem. There has been no accountability all this time, from the slave catching days all the way up until now. And then you see president after president after president that's completely content with that. And we know Trump is content because he wants to talk about everything else other than what's going on in the country. Okay, so he suggests roughing up suspects. In July 2017, many of us remember that speech to law enforcement officers in New York. When you see these towns and when you see these thugs being thrown into the back of a paddy wagon, you just see them thrown in rough. Please don't be too nice, he said. Well, that's the kind of attitude that's going to cost you, Trump. Trump also complained that police were held to an unfair standard. In fact, police ain't held to any standard, and that's the problem. I have to tell you, you know, that laws are horrendously stacked against us because of the years and years they have been made to protect the criminal. What law do they have in place, ladies and gentlemen, that protects any Black people in jail? What's the name of these laws? What are these people talking about? Protect what criminals? The ones that look like him? Maybe that's what he's talking about. Because we know it sure he couldn't be talking about us. Sorry about that. All right, so during 2017 memorial service for law enforcement officers killed on the job, Trump described policing as the thin blue line between civilization and chaos. I have news for you, Trump. People like you didn't civilize nothing. Okay, you're not even civilized yourself. We must end the reckless words of incitement to give rise to danger and violence and blah, 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 blah. Okay. So just looking at this, you get the picture. Trump really don't want to do anything about policing in the country. That's why he's avoiding the whole subject matter. So just know, Trump, people in this country are not working. Unemployment is up to 42 million. It has risen from 40 million to 42 million. And as long as people have nothing but time on their hands, you're going to have them out in the streets. And y'all talking about cutting off the $600, just anticipate more people being in the streets around America. That's all I got to say. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.